Hey everybody, it's Shannon. In today's video, we're going to talk about some of the most useful, what I call cheat words or helper words that'll help you sound a lot more like a fluent Arabic speaker, even when you're still kind of a beginner. You're going through the Fusha or Modern Standard Arabic and you're having trouble conversing with people, maybe just because, it is a complex language and there's a lot to learn. But when you speak with people like on the street and using slang and that kind of thing, there are a few words that you should know that'll help you speak a lot faster, in a more fluid manner, okay? So the first kind of helper word that I love is illy. All right, and when you look in Google Translate, it's not formal, it's not standard Arabic. So what does it say? If I put in illy, yeah, it just says ly. There's not really a translation for it because illy it's more slang, and illy is a very useful word that can mean that thing which, the person that, the one who, the one which, like all these kinds of things. That's all kind of encompassed in illy. All right, and where does it come from? So illy, if you study Fusha, which I think is the best foundation, because then you understand, where things come from, right? So illy, it comes from, alladhi or allati. So, al-bint allati darast ma'aha, or ash-shakhs alladhi, right? And so it's like you have to, okay, there's mudhakkar and mu'annath, the male and female. Whereas illy, you can use male and female, whatever, for plural. Illy is just super useful because you can, it's like the Swiss Army knife. One of the Swiss Army knives of Arabic, all right? What are some examples of illy? You could say, ash-shakhs illi atani al-hadiyya, the person that gave me the gift. البنت اللي شفتها أمس, the girl that I saw yesterday. الحفلة اللي رحت لها أمس, the party that I went to yesterday. الكتاب اللي شفته, the book that I saw, or الكتاب اللي عندك, the book that you have. What else? الكرسي اللي هنا, the chair that is الكرسي اللي في البيت, the chair that's in that house, right? So as you can see, illy, it's super useful and you can use it all the time. It's one of my favorite kind of like helper words. And fluent speakers use it all the time, all right? Because just like us in English, we'll say, oh, I wanna, gonna, have to, or I've got it. Like we have all these ways that we shorten words in English and that will, to make things easier for us. So just as we do that as English speakers, Arabic speakers do that as well with illy. Speaking of illy, there's a Saudi comedian, Badr Saleh, who did a YouTube, I think it's still on, called Eysh illy. Eysh means what? Illy is like, I think of that, the thing that, but when you put them together, Eysh illy, that's the name of the show. Let me see what that means, because usually when I think of eysh illy, it's like a fragment. It's like eysh illy shuft, or eysh illy sar is like what happened. Eysh illy, the one that happened. So like eysh illy, let me get like the actual. So there was an article in English about it. Okay. So yeah, so the YouTube show that Badr Saleh did is called eysh illy, which means what is in Arabic. So yeah, I guess if you put that together, eysh illy, I don't know. Yeah, what is, but it's like eysh illy, the thing that, the one, I don't know. It sounds like a fragment to me, but that's fine. It's a creative title. So yeah, eysh illy. Okay, so that's illy. Now you know how to use that one. The second one we're going to talk about is hug and hugga, right? Hug, ha, it comes from hug. Like the word hug it's a Fusha word, which means, I think it has a bunch of different meanings, but hug is right or truth, the right, al-hug. And then, like haqaiqa is like the fact, and then the haqqaq is like the root, the jadr, the three letters, ha, which is to achieve or realize. Haqqaqt al-hilm, like I achieved the dream or whatever. Inshallah al-hilm yahaqqaq. Hopefully the dream will be realized, right? So we already know this word haqq from Fusha, all right? But when we use it in Ammiya and in slang Arabic and everyday Arabic, we say hug, well, because the ga is easier than the qaf sound, right? And we say hug to mean it's possession, basically. Al-kitab huggi, the book of mine. Sayyara huggata, the car of hers. So it's like saying, it's a way to express it, imtilaq or mulkiya, they say the ownership, without putting it on the end of the word, so like kitabi. But I could also say al-kitab huggi, the book of mine. All right, and we do this in English, we say of mine as opposed to my whatever, right? So it's a different way of denoting ownership. One of the reasons I love using hug or hugga to denote possession is that it's so useful for those instances when a word ends in like a vowel. So for example, kursi is chair, right? And so my chair, kursi, you know, that sounds kind of weird. So I would say at kursi huggi. And especially when I'm not really sure if a word ends in an alif or like a ta marbuta or whatever, I'm not really sure about, you know, like the word pajama. Somebody asked me about how do you say my pajamas the other day. Is it pijamati or pijamati, pijamati? I would say pijama huggy, pijama huggati, pijama huggy, whatever. But yeah, something like that. Like if it ends in a vowel, it makes it a lot harder because you get like, okay, with the possession, like putting that on the end of the word, it gets all weird and it might sound like it just sounds a little bit strange. So that's why I use hug a lot. So I'll be like, yeah, kursi huggi, kursi hug huwa, you know, hug rajal, whatever. So when it ends in a vowel, like I said, like an alif or a ya or a wow, like a namu, like his growth, namui, I guess you say namui, my growth, namu, like his growth, yeah, namu, hug, huwa. Like hug is just like, it's a helper word, and it makes it easier to denote possession. And just a note about hug as well, and sorry, this is like PG-13, I guess, but hug is also used in slang to mean his thing, like huggu, his, yeah, like a male organ. Okay, so that's another thing, huggu. So hug in general though, like you can know from the context, you know, how, yeah, asayara huggata, or al bayt huggu, the house of his. Instead of saying baytu, you can say huggu. And that's just something that I feel like it made it a lot easier for me, especially in these instances where you have, yeah, like I said, words ending in vowels. All right. Lastly, since we're talking about cheat words and helper words and fillers, filler words in Arabic, that's just like we have in English. So we say anyway or so, and you know, in Arabic, you probably heard the word yani, like, and yani literally means it means, yani. Or they say gazdi means I mean, gazdi kida, you know, I mean, and what else? So is like so, S-O. رحت البيت, you know, is kind of like saying so, this, all right? yani, those are the main ones. And since I said kida just now, I feel like that's another one I should add. Kida is kind of like saying like that. I'm gonna do like that. Kida. Or I've heard some dialects, they say chida, chidi means kida, yeah, because the ka they pronounce as a cha. But yeah, kida is kind of like, it means like that. Abra سيارة كذا, أبغى واحد كذا means like that. مثل هذا or something, right? So hopefully you found this video useful. Let me know your comments down below, and if you are an Arabic speaker, what are some of the, I guess, your favorite helper words in terms of everyday chat, conversation, things that you would suggest for people who want to be more fluent in Arabic, or at least sound more fluent in Arabic? Let me know what you think down below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Love you guys. أحبكم. See you next time.